Here we go on 6.2. Today we're going to talk about multiplying radicals. When we multiply radicals, we are going to multiply the outsides, multiply the insides, and then simplify. The three steps we're going to do today. We're going to multiply the outsides, multiply the insides, and then simplify it. The only thing that is very important today, the one rule, I'm going to put a star here before we get started. In order to multiply radicals, they must be the same dimension. You cannot multiply a square root with a cube root. Okay, they have to be the same in order to multiply them together. All right, so we're going to jump right in with example number 1. And this will be your 10 through 18 to start. And it just says multiply. And so let's say I have the 3 square root 2 times by 2 square root 6. So first I multiply my outsides 3 times 2, which is 6. Then I multiply my insides. 2 times 6, which is 12. The last thing I do is simplify that 12 to see if anything can come out. So 12 breaks down into 4 times 3. 4 is 2 and 2. So since this is a square root, I only need 2 friends to go out, right? I'm going to join the 6. When it joins the 6 on the outside, what do we do? Good. So I'm going to have 12 square root 3. That's your answer. All right. I want to do another one underneath the same one. Let's say I have the cube root of 18 times by 4 cube root 6. All right, so again, we multiply our outsides. What's the outside over here? Okay, so 1 times 4 is 4. I have the cube root. Now, if I don't include my 3 there, it's a totally different thing. So remember that when you're writing it down in your homework, if it's a cube root, it's got to have a little 3. If it's a 4th root, it's got to have a little 4. Then we're going to multiply 18 times 6. 108. Beautiful. Now what's our last step? Yeah, so this 108 is 12 times 9. 12 we can say is 4 and 3. I'm going to cross out my 12. 9 is 3 and 3. 4 is 2 and 2. What number? Well, first of all, because it's a cube root, how many friends do I have to have? 3. So what number has 3 friends? The 3. So that 3 gets to come out and join the 4. So I have 12 on the outside. The cube root. What's left over for the inside? There's 2 2's, which is 4. Very good. Excuse me. Try and pause this real quick. Here we go. Okay, so let's make one just a little bit harder. Let's go with example number 2. Still from the same section, but I'm going to step it up a little bit here. Let's say I have the cube root of -5 times by the cube root, oh, that's not a very good 3, the cube root of negative 25. It's odd, but what do we really have to do first anyway? We multiply the outside, so we get 1. Cube root of, yeah, negative 5 times negative 25 makes it positive, right? So we get a positive 125 in here. And the cube root of 125 is positive 5. All right. Let's go to example number 3. Example number 3 is going to cover 20 through 26. Here you are practicing simplifying. So you don't have to multiply in this little section, you're just simplifying it. But they're adding variables and different numbers and things. So let's try, let's say I have the cube root of I'm trying to think in my head, about 54. Cube root of 54. 54, x to the 6th, y to the 4th. So first we're going to start with our number, and we're going to break 54 down. 54 breaks down into 9 times 6. 9 is 3 and 3. I'm going to cross out my 9. 6 is 3 and 2. I'm going to cross out my 6. What number gets to come out of there? 3. I have a cube root. What number's got to stay home? Good. Now let's look at our x's. I have 6 x's. How many groups of 3 x's do I have? So I have x squared on the outside. Is any of the x's staying home? Okay. What about my y's? One set of 3. So one y comes out, or one group of y's. And how many are left at home? 1. That would be your final answer. Okay. All right, let's try this one. I'm still in the same example real quick. Let's say I have the 5th root of negative 64 a to the 7th, b to the 9th. All right, so I want to start with the fact that there's a negative in there. This is an odd root. So what does that tell you about our answer? It's going to be a negative, exactly. If it is an odd root and it's negative on the inside, it's going to be negative on the outside. So I have a negative, right, in my 5th root. 64 breaks down into 8 times 8, which is 2 times 4, and 2 and 4, and 4 is 2 and 2. And 2 and 2. So how many friends do I have to come out of here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 of them there. So one group of 2's comes out. There is 1 2 left over. What about A's? I have 7 A's in there. How many groups of 5 A's do I have? One group of 5 A's. How many are left over? 2. Good. So I have A squared on the inside. I have 9 B's. How many groups of 5 B's do I have? Good. So that comes out. 4 are left over. Very good. So that is B to the 4th left on the inside. Okay? Any question on simplifying it? Easy? I'm glad it's easy. I like that. All right. So let's see. That was example 3. Let's go to example 4. I think you guys are ready to move to the next section. So last section today, we're going to do 28 through 36. We're going to multiply and simplify. So let's say I have the cube root of 6y to the third z squared times by the cube root of 18 y to the 6 z, let's say z. Sounds good. All right, so first we multiply our outsides. 1 times 1 is still 1. Now we're going to multiply our insides. Oops, that wasn't very straight. 6 times 18. Y to the third times y to the 6th. Y to the what? Nope. You add your exponents. Then I have z squared times z is z to the third. Good. Now we get to simplify this. How many of the same thing in order to come out? 3. Good. So 108 again was 9 times 12. 9 is 3 and 3. 12 is 3 and 4. Of course, 4 can break down, but there's not 3 of those, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to bring out a 3. Cube root of 4. Let's talk about our y to the 9th. How many groups of 3 y's can come out? Good. So I have y to the third on the outside. 1 group of z's can come out. Is there anything left over? Perfect. That would be your final answer. Okay. Let's do one more under there. Actually, 2 more real quick. What if I gave you -2 cube root 4x squared y to the 7th times by the 4th root of 2x to the 3rd y to the 4th? Good. Not possible. Why? Yes. Explain perfectly. Yes, they are different dimensions. Very good. All right. Now last one. Let's say I have -2 cube root 9 x to the 4th y to the 6th times by 4 cube root 6, oh, I want to say -6, -6 x to the 3rd y. All right, so we multiply our outsides. What do we get on the outside? -8. And we write our cube roots. What do we have on the inside? 9 times -6 is -54. X to the 4th times x to the 3rd is x to the 7th. And then y to the 6th times y is y to the 7th. Good. Okay, now this is an odd root. So what are you going to tell me about that negative? It's going to come out and be, yeah. So it's already negative on the outside. So what's it going to do? It's going to make it positive. Okay. So we know this right here comes out and makes this positive. 54 breaks down into 9 times 6. 9 is 3 and 3. 6 is 3 and 2. So I have a group of 3's that come out. If I bring them out, it multiplies with the +8. So we have 24 cube root 2 on the inside. Tell me about my x's. 2 sets. So x squared on the outside. What's on the inside, Preston? 1x. Okay, what about my y's? Good. So I have y squared on the outside and y on the inside. Do we have any questions? Okay, so you still have about 25 minutes. Remember, that clock is extremely fast. This one's a little bit closer up here. So you have a lot of time to get this done. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I want you all to have a fabulous weekend. So.